you want to be having a far better sexual connection with the women that you date. And I get that, and I applaud that, and I think it's freaking incredible. Men should be constantly improving ourselves, especially in this incredibly important area. And I want to teach you how to connect deeper and to basically unlock a way of doing sex that you have probably never had in your past. But first you have to ask yourself, why on earth should you listen to this pretty face? I'm just some random guy that you came across on the internet. If you don't know me, I'm going to tell you a little. My name's Clint. I live in South America, and I've been a dating coach for about the last 6 or 7 years. During that time, I have lived this life pretty much just full time, interacting with women day in and day out, meeting new women, talking to women, talking to women about what they like in men, how they connect with men, what is fire for a woman, what they enjoy sexually, what they enjoy in all different areas of life. And I've learned a tremendous amount about femininity and masculinity, and all of it has been battle tested in the trenches in my own life and through a good ton of men that I've passed this stuff on to and helped improve their lives. So if you're wondering whether you should listen to me, I would suggest look at the comments that women have listed, and if you're a woman watching this video, comment in the comments. If you think I'm giving good advice, lay it out. If you think I'm full of shit, lay it out. Now, I will say up front, if there's very masculine, feminist type women, you're going to be triggered. And I really don't give a fuck. You shouldn't be watching this video if you don't want to be triggered. But if you are a woman that is actually authentic and feminine and really wants to connect with men, not hate men, then yeah, you're probably going to be like, damn, this guy is reading my mind and telling other men some really good information about how to connect better with women. And if you're a man, heterosexual man watching this, that is exactly what you're going to find. This video is going to be maybe 15, 20 minutes in length. And if you watch through to the end, I promise you, if you transform the way that you think about sex and start implementing this approach that I'm going to talk to you about, it will completely transform. It will be like the first time you discovered sex. And you're like, oh my God, this whole world opens up. And you're just like mind blown. You will have the same experience. Because here is the truth. Our culture is obsessed with sex. However, almost everywhere that a guy is exposed to teaching on sex, a guy is taught the same bullshit. 90% of sex is not what you come across in porn and in social media today. That is literally 10% of sex. 10% of sex, what I call McDonald's sex, is the physical part of sex. It's finger her here, this is her G-spot, this is how you have sex for a longer period of time, this is how you turn her on by touching her here, putting your mouth here, whatever. It's the technical aspect of sex. And there's some value to that. I'm not denying that. There's definite value in a man learning those skills. But that's only 10% of sex. And it's actually not the 10% that most women want you to be focusing on. And if you learn, see, the thing is, the vast majority of men only learn that 10%. And so you're not going to be mind-blowing. Best case scenario, you're going to get 10% on the exam. I want to teach you how to incorporate the other 90% that you've probably never learned about, especially if you're in Western culture. You've never even heard of it. And that 90% is what blows a woman's mind. Think of it this way. I always tell clients this. When you walk up to a woman, when you're walking in the mall and you see a woman, you're like, fuck, she is stunning. You want to talk to her. Okay, most guys don't know what to say. So most guys do this thing. They see the girl. Oh my God, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? I don't want to look like an idiot. And they think, and they think, and they think. And maybe if the guy's got some balls, after 2 minutes or 3 minutes, he finally gets the balls or the courage in the club or something like that, and he goes up to her to say the perfect thing that he thought of. Well, I got news for you. Women work the opposite to men. So when you go up to her and you say to her, hey, I just want to tell you, I was over there with my buddies and I saw your hair and your eyes and whatever, and you say the perfect words that you thought of or that you copied from a movie or a skit or something, and you say the perfect content, because you waited, you don't get any points for it. So your words had better be absolutely perfect because you don't get bonus points. And she will be focusing on your words because there's no emotion to it, because you delayed it. However, if you saw that same woman and you walked by her and you made eye contact with her and you walked right over to her in the intensity of that spontaneous moment, and you said to that exact same woman the absolute worst content, you walked up to her and you were like, blah, blah, you blurted out something, you're Spanish, you butchered the translation, you used the wrong conjugation of verbs, maybe it was in your own language and you just kind of stuttered and you whatever, but you went in the intensity of the moment, you showed her your presence and spontaneity. I guarantee you, 10 out of 10 women in that moment will be blown away by the feeling that was generated because you just walked over to her and connected with her. And what you actually said isn't important because she's not even going to remember it anyway. She's going to remember the intensity of the connection. Sex works the exact same. If you learn how to create an intense, authentic, intimate connection with a woman, the same as the example in the initial interaction, if you learn how to do that properly, that's the 90%. And if you do that properly, then the 10%, what you actually do, you put it here, you did this here, you lasted this long, whatever, those things are important. But realistically, if you get 5 out of 10 on that, or if you get 7 out of 10, or maybe you even get 8 out of 10 or whatever, it doesn't matter. If you butcher it, you'll be like, oh, he got 2 out of 10 on that. Not the best in bed. But the whole event was so mind-blowingly romantic and charming and out of a movie for her, she'll still give you another chance. She'll be like, yeah, let's go out again or whatever. But if you're the opposite, you don't give her the 90% that she's craving and you just ace the exam on that 10% because you've watched so much porn that you've just mastered the art of doing all the physical techniques. Dude, you're 1 out of 10. You're easily forgettable. So let's talk a tiny bit about this mysterious 90% that I keep referring to. Well, the very first thing you need to know is that you need to be filtering women better. Filter women better. Almost all of your problems in dating, all your heartache, you being cheated on, you being lied to, you being disappointed, you wasting your time, your energy, all of that is largely because you weren't filtering very well. So you met this girl, she gave you all these red flags, you ignored all of them because she was so physically beautiful. And then 6 months later, you're in heartbreak land talking to me saying, how do I put my life back together? That was avoidable. So you want to be constantly assessing women. Is this woman worth me creating an incredible experience with or not? And if she's not, you have to learn the art of just saying no and walking away. So she's got a perfect body, she's gorgeous, she's this, she's totally my type, but I can sense that she's totally inauthentic with me and she's lying and she's probably in a relationship with another guy or whatever. Okay, walk away. She doesn't get your sex, mate. You need to learn to start reserving your sex for the exceptional women out there and start denying your sex to the women that are just fucking stunningly gorgeous but don't have anything more to offer. This is super important because as you start to open this up, you have to choose one or the other. You're either going out with the Instagram model that is fucking gorgeous. She's a 10 out of 10 and she has no heart, no soul, nothing more to offer than a set of breasts and an ass that she's offering to everybody on the internet. Maybe she has her hidden OnlyFans account. Get away from that girl. That's fucking disgusting. You can only have McDonald's sex with her because she's not going to be open to the stuff I'm going to talk to you about in this video. You're going to quickly discover that that 10 out of 10 is actually a 1 out of 10 because she's so common. It's pathetic. And then you'll have these experiences where you meet this girl and physically, this is like when I met my ex. She was physically, for me, I was seeing other girls that were more attractive to her. But in the moment, I quickly began to think that she was very, very, very honest and authentic. And to me, she quickly became a 10 in my eyes because of it. I later discovered that she wasn't that honest, but that's a totally separate issue. I want you to have that same experience. I want you to have the experience where you meet a girl and maybe physically you're like, oh, I never date blondes. This girl's a blonde. Or I never date girls taller than me or shorter than, 5'2" or whatever. Physically, she's not exactly my type. But I gotta tell you, dude, if you discover how to filter women based on their character traits, you're gonna quickly discover that honesty, authenticity, gratitude, being the type of woman that doesn't just blame somebody for how she feels. These are really important character qualities. And the beautiful thing is, if things work out with that girl, you can actually build a relationship with that kind of girl. And you want to build those into the women that you date. So first off, you're going to start filtering women better. And what I'm talking about in this video is stuff that you only do with women that are exceptional. The common woman that may look physically 10 out of 10 or whatever, dude, just start valuing yourself better and don't give your sex to that woman. She doesn't deserve it. But now I'm going to assume that you've filtered really well. So now you can go deeper with a woman. Okay. You need to understand that women do not function the same as men. So a woman does not get turned on primarily in the bedroom when the clothes come off and how you touch her. Dude, that is so far after where sex starts for her. That is literally in the credits of the movie. The whole movie has already happened for her. And that is literally the last tiny little part. And it's where pretty much guys only focus on that. For a guy, the majority of the stuff before that is just lead up bullshit. And he might be into foreplay, but for guys, foreplay is, okay, I'm gonna fondle her tits for a little while before I get her naked and start having sex. That's not foreplay, dude. That's still in the little last 10%. You want to learn to begin to see sex as a language of connection between two people. Sex is not a product for you to consume. This is what Western culture is so fucked on, and it's really sad. Sex is not like a chocolate bar. You know, I like chocolate, so you eat a chocolate bar and you go, oh, I want another chocolate bar because I enjoyed that. I like the taste. That's not what sex is, but that's how sex is presented in Western culture. What I want to invite you into is discovering that sex is actually a language. It's a way of communicating and flow of information between two people. It's a way of you making her feel certain emotions that you want her to feel. Not in a manipulative way, but you look at this woman and you really have filtered well, so you already really like this person inside and out. And you want to see her feeling beautiful and safe and encouraged and validated and all these types of things. Sex becomes the language through which you transmit that to her. And then she receives that, and then she feels those things. So sex for a woman starts at the very beginning of the date. Probably actually the first time you talk to her, sex starts. Not because she's obsessed with sex and wants to have sex with you, but I mean the entire event for her of sex starts with the smallest, tiniest details that most guys have no clue to include in the entire sexual experience. So women kind of understand that generally they're not really going to enjoy themselves very much, and maybe that last tiny 10% of the guy's incredible, she'll orgasm, and maybe that's kind of great and she'll give the guy another chance. But if you can be the guy that understands how to create the entire experience for her, she's going to love spending time with you. And I'm not saying this in a manipulative way. I'm saying give her that freaking gift because you filtered well. You're already with an incredible, exceptional woman. So give her the opportunity of experiencing the whole romance movie instead of just that little tiny 10% credits bit. Now, how do you do that? I want to get into the nuts and bolts because you're a guy, you think logically. I want you to start to think differently. You have to think about what this woman actually needs. She doesn't need dick because she can get that anywhere. She doesn't need money either because she can get that anywhere. So you shouldn't be giving any women money. No sugar daddy stuff, no transactional stuff. This is like presupposes. Before this video, you should have watched some of my content. You should know that I'm against that. So now you're not doing a transaction, but she has needs. Women have needs. And you're now going to start focusing on what are those needs. She doesn't need dick because she can get that anywhere. She could literally walk outside her store, and as long as she's like a 4, if she could just wear a low-cut top and a mini skirt and say to 5 out of 10 guys, hey, I'm down with having sex, and those guys will have sex with her. So she doesn't need dick. So you go, okay, well, she doesn't need my dick. Why is she going out with me? Well, she has a number of other needs. And if you can learn how to meet those needs, women will enjoy spending time with you. They'll enjoy opening up sexually with you. And that'll give you an opportunity to connect with them sexually in a way that you've never have before. So the very first thing that you need to understand, women need to feel safe. She needs to feel safe. Guys, do not talk about this. You will not see this in a porn video. Make a girl feel safe. But I guarantee you, if you read through the comments, women will agree this is one of the top things they crave in a man they want to date. A guy that understands how to make her safe and make her feel safe. Two different things there. You have to learn how to authentically do both. So your job as a protective masculine man is to make her safe. And then it's also to find ways, unique, creative ways to communicate to her, relax, it's okay, you're safe with me. Now this happens on several different levels. Obviously the first is physically. She has to be able to sense what your intentions are with her. You have to be able to be open about that. That's why authenticity is so important. You have to be very clear. And we'll get into that in a minute. Actually telling women what your intentions are with them can be an incredibly powerful turn on for a woman. But she has to feel safe. So you're going to plan your dates around what's going to make her feel safe. Don't bring her to your place at the first part of a first date. Don't call her up off Tinder or whatever and, okay, come over to my place. Dude, she's not gonna feel safe. She might be safe because maybe you're a safe guy, but she's not gonna feel safe unless she's been all over the block, in which case you don't wanna be with that girl anyway. But if you're filtering well and you're going out with a really exceptional woman, just don't do that, dude. Take her out during the day to a public place. You have to think, women get raped all the time. Women get forced to do things they don't want to do. So you're going to actively communicate to her that you're not that type of guy. And you don't do that just through talking. You do that through plan a date during the day. Take her for coffee. This is going to relax her guard because she's going to feel, okay, you're not trying to get her drunk. It's not in the evening where there's dark things and maybe there's a guy hiding around the corner or whatever, or it's at a club or a bar where she can't really hear you or see you, or maybe you're there with another guy and you're going to drug her. Like, you want to take all that shit out of off the plate, right? You want to just take her somewhere where you can actually connect with her. There's no tricks, there's no secrets here. Take her to your favorite cafe where you have like a little tiny bit of privacy. Sit down and have a coffee. Keep your hands away from her coffee. If you're there with her, you order the coffee, and the whole time she's going to have her drink with her. You don't want to be anywhere near her drink. Why? Because guys do spike women's drinks, even a coffee, right? And you want to be actively showing her, hey, look, you can calm down. Until you get to know me, I want you to know that you're safe. When you walk in the street with her, a man's job is to protect the woman that he's with. This hasn't changed. Feminism reprograms, the surface level, but women still want to be protected. So when you're walking with her in the street, you want to be walking between her and any potential danger. So if there's cars driving on this side, you're going to be walking here and she's going to be on this side because you're putting yourself in between her and potential danger. As you're walking, if you see a dog come, or if you see a guy that looks a little bit sketchy, or if you see on the ground, there's, like an uneven pavement and she's wearing heels and she could trip, it's your job to protect her from that. So as you're walking, you're keeping her safe. Hey, hang on a second, or watch out for that, or whatever. All that you're doing when you're doing that, it's not because she's weak and she can't take care of herself. Of course she can, most women can. You're communicating to her, hey, I got your back. Don't worry, you can relax with me. Relax your guard, I've got you. You're not in danger. When you're with me, you're safe. And you want to be constantly reinforcing that, because when a woman feels safe with you, she can actually open up. She can spend more time with you. She can go more places with you. If she feels safe, she'll come back to your place. She'll watch the sunset with you. She'll do all different other types of things with you if she wants to, because she feels safe. She knows that if she comes to the edge of her line and she doesn't want to go further, you'll respect that. And you want to be that guy, because when you can communicate to her, not that you're weak, that's totally different. I'm not talking that you're going to be weak, but that you're safe. A safe place for her, right? And so she can lower her guard and she can just let herself be. And in that safety, you're going to be offering her freedom. Women, if you're watching this video, in the comments, if you're a guy watching this video, send it to a few women, get their perspective and tell them to comment. In the comments, am I full of shit or am I onto something here? If you're creating a place of safety between you and her, you're going to be creating a place of freedom for her. Now, you don't understand this, but most women do not feel free. They do not feel free to be themselves. They expect that they're going to be judged. So when a woman is with you, she is in her head thinking editing, filtering what she must not say so you don't think badly of her. What should she say so that you're interested in her? What should she do when you guys start messing around? And what if she doesn't do this properly? What if she does this incorrectly? All of this shit is going through her head. So if you're a man that can give her a place of freedom to just be herself, she will open up to you better and she will enjoy giving herself to you more because she feels safe. She knows you're not gonna, lambaste her on social media if she doesn't do the stuff that you want. She knows that you're not gonna push her, you're not gonna force her. So you're giving her the gift of a free and safe place to exist with you. And that is amazing because very few guys know how to do that. And when you get good at doing this, you can communicate to her in a very short period of time that that is the type of man that you are. And a wall will come down in her and she will allow you to see a side of her that no other guys has. Every woman has a slut inside of her. It's normal, it's natural. And that's just her sexuality. But most women are taught at a very young age from society, from other guys, to hide all these different parts of themselves. And so they do, they hide it because they don't want to be judged, they don't want to be rejected. And they don't want everybody else to know that they think these things or feel these things or enjoy these things or whatever. So you want to be the guy that actually gives her the safe place to open up and be herself. And that's going to create intimacy between the two of you because instead of her being an edited version of herself to get your validation, she's going to have the freedom to be the real her. And when that happens, she's going to actually open up to you. Now think about this sexually. Do you not understand that this starts to create fire in a woman? She gets the opportunity to open up. She's going to let you explore her. She's going to let you experience her. And this is going to create sex on a completely different level than just you smashing her after some club when she's had too many drinks. So, safety. You have to be able to make a woman safe. You have to be able to make a woman feel safe with you. That creates a freedom, a space of true freedom for her to be herself with you. And when you can create that for a woman, she's going to love being with you. Now, a lot of the ways that we communicate these things as men is through kind of traditional actions that men have always done, being gentlemanly. So opening doors for a woman, that has nothing to do with she can't open the door herself because she's dumb. No, obviously not. Women open doors for themselves all the time. They don't stand there waiting at the shopping center. Like, when will a guy come and open this door? I can't figure this out. No, she could do it herself. But when you're doing that, you're communicating to her that you value her, that she's a priority for you, that you're taking care of her. The same, when you go into the place, pull the chair out for her. Sit her in your chair. This is just basic things. Be a gentleman to women. It is so incredible. Most women do not get this opportunity, so be that guy, because that communicates to her charm and charisma. So all these types of things. Plan her Uber when you go out on the date, or pick her up yourself, or however you want to organize that in a way that she feels safe. Plan her Uber, and then afterward, get her home safely. And if you put her in an Uber or a taxi and she goes home after your date, tell her to text you. Tell the taxi cab driver, hey, be careful with her. She's really important to me. Make eye contact with him. This communicates to him, hey, don't fuck around, because I'm going to get you. And it also communicates to her that you're very masculine and you're taking care of her. These are good things, guys. These are really good things. Again, women, comment in the comments. Am I out to lunch? Next, you want to learn how to be authentic. So the very first thing in this that you're going to have to do is, stop being an asshole. If you have this mindset that you just want to take advantage of women and use women or whatever, my content can't really help you. Get the fuck out of here. You're not a really good guy. Come back once you've grown up and you don't want to act like a 4-year-old anymore. But assuming that you're a great guy and you go like, oh yeah, okay, I want to learn how to be a better lover to the woman that I want to be with. Well, a large part of that is learning how to prioritize giving to her sexually. Stop viewing sex as something that you can collect, notches on your belt and like, I've had 25 in the last 3 months or whatever it is. You haven't had anything. The point of sex is how many women can you filter out so that you're only with a very select, incredible woman or small number of women. And then you give her the type of experience that absolutely blows her mind. And if you filtered well, you'll be with the type of woman that wants to give you the same type of experience. But you're focusing on giving during sex instead of taking. And that immediately puts you into a very small camp of men when you can do that correctly. So when you're when you're doing that, you can be more authentic about who you are because you don't need to hide anything. And part of that is you can be honest and authentic about your intentions. This is a great thing because most guys hide this. Most guys want to be nice so that women like them and don't feel they're a threat, and then the woman's not turned on. Okay, what's the opposite of that? What could you do better? Well, you can be honest and authentic, and you can say to a woman on the date, you can even do this right when you first meet a woman, whatever, you want to do it in a charming, respectful way. So it takes some practice, right? But when you meet a woman and you do want to be sexual with her, you can be open about that without being a creep. And you can tell a woman on a date, even on a first date, you can say, do you want to know what my intentions are with you? And then she'll probably respond to you, yes, I would really like to know that, because women are trying to figure that out. What are your intentions? What are you thinking? What are you planning, or whatever? And then you can openly tell her, look, I'm a very select type of person. I want to connect with you very deeply. And, I'm only in town for a week, or maybe you want a longer term relationship, or maybe you don't know, or whatever. But just be honest. Be honest with her. No more of this lying, using, tricking bullshit. No mystery method games. Honesty and authenticity. And you can literally look her in the eyes and you can say to her, my intention is to get to know you better. My intention is for us to explore each other and experience something that is just absolutely mind-blowing together, and see where that goes. Or whatever your truth is. Don't use my words. But my point is, you can actually tell her those intentions, and that will relax her. She will, again, feel safer because she doesn't have to figure you out, because you've already told her, this is what I'm intending for us to do together. But again, you want to do that in a respectful way and in a charming way. You don't want to say to her, my intention is to take you back to my place and smash you on the balcony. Yeah, maybe some girls will be into that, but a lot of girls are going to be like, fuck, he again is only wanting to focus on the 10%, and I want a guy that knows how to focus on the 100%. This brings us to what I would say is the most important part of understanding how to do sex better. If you've already done everything that I've already talked about, she feels safe, she feels freedom with you, you've been focusing on the small details to build up to the entire event, you have to understand women love sex. I think they probably love sex more than men. They can orgasm far more than men can. But the difference is men will have, a lot of men, most men, almost all men are like dogs. They will have sex with anything that walks as long as it's mildly attractive just to get their rocks off. Women generally are not like that unless they've been really polluted in the West and become extremely promiscuous. Generally, women love connecting sexually with a man. And when she can connect with you like that, whether it's in a relationship or not in a relationship, but she is literally connecting with that man, women love that experience. There's no need to trick her into doing that, to give her enough alcohol so that she'll accidentally fall into your bed and let you have sex with her, to trick her with these special secret routines and manipulate her mind through nagging and do all these games and whatever. You don't need to do any of that shit, because that presupposes that she doesn't want to actually do that, and you have to manipulate things to get past all that so that she'll do it with you. But I got great news. You don't need to do that. If you've filtered well and picked a really good woman that you're trying to connect with, and if you've focused on all that 90% to build fire with her and she's feeling connected with you, sex is the most natural progression of that connection. That's why they call it a climax. It's like the story's going and then it climaxes, right? The problem with most guys is they just want to focus on, imagine a movie that doesn't have any of the lead up. It just has boom. Well, I guess that's basically what porno is. But you want to learn to focus on the entire sex event, the entire date, the entire connection with her, right? And if you're doing that well, she already wants to connect deeper and deeper and deeper with you. So you don't need to use alcohol to soften her inhibitions or drugs or tricking her. I would advise against any of that. That's what little boys do when they don't understand how women work. What a man does is to walk her gently past those inhibitions without using any alcohol when she's completely sober, maybe even during the day. And to actually not trick her into bed through games, but just warm the fire and bring her to bed. If you have done the 90% well, then she is going to feel very safe and free with you. You can understand now why that is so important to authentically create that. Now you do not need to manipulate her or trick her or get her fired up by touching her in the right place or whatever. No, she wants to have sex with you already, dude. Like now she already feels safe. She's already happily stepping through these, one step at a time, getting closer and closer to that event with you. What great sex becomes is, it's not about getting her past those inhibitions in some artificial way, like getting her drunk or getting her a little tipsy so you can kind of do this or kind of do that. No, dude. It's about building that sense of trust and safety and connection with her. And trust really is what's going to let her allow you to lead her into some incredible experience for the two of you to taste together. And that's where, yes, the clothes start coming off and you start doing crazy stuff together. Okay, cool. But the whole point of this video is for you to learn how to create that 90%, because if you're doing that well, then the last little part where you're actually having sex is going to be completely different than you've probably ever had it before. And that's why it's so important to filter the women properly, because if you're with a woman that doesn't really have anything better to offer than her body, she's not going to be able to open up. There's nothing for her to give you because there's nothing inside. There's just a set of breasts. And you really, that McDonald's sex is going to become very distasteful for you, very boring, very bland, lacking flavor. And you're going to desire to actually connect and to bond through sex. Because that's what it's actually all about. It's not about collecting these baseball cards, It's about having this amazing, almost spiritual, transcendental experience with this woman. And that might be for a night. That might be in a relationship over and over. Personally, I think it gets better and better and better the deeper you go with a person when you have that connection. So I'm fully in favor of meet someone special and go deeper with them. But for some of you, okay, you want to play the field a little bit more. Okay, well, I'm not against that. I'm not going to judge you. But I am going to say, find out how to create that 90%, because it is going to make sex so much better for you, because she's going to give herself to you fully sober. You're going to see her walls come down. You're going to see that trust come out in her, where she's literally giving herself to you, not just simply her body. And you're going to experience something with her that, most guys never do or can't. And guys in her past probably haven't, because they didn't know how or they didn't give a shit to, and they just used her for sex. And she just accepted that because she liked the guy. You want to give her the opposite type of experience. And when you can become that guy, dude, you just have to take my word on it. The sex will be so much superior. One time of having sex with a woman like that will be like 100 times of having McDonald's sex. So learn it. Now, if you got something out of this video, comment on it. Follow me and see if it improves the way that you relate to women. If you're a woman watching this, thank you for still being on board. Your comments are extremely valuable as well. Comment below. If you think I'm full of shit, you think I'm onto something. I really am passionate about men and women learning how to connect better. So from this point, I would suggest watch the other video that talks to women about how to connect better with men in a more holistic sexual experience. And then you can comment on that video whether you think I represented men to women well. And if you're a woman watching this, did I represent women well to men in this video? Give some feedback. I'd be totally into that, and I think a lot of other guys here would be very interested to hear what you have to say. Thank you for sticking around. Check out the UpperTier Club. It's a great way to learn how to connect better, whether you're a man or a woman. And let's really transform the way people date in 2024, because the baseline most people experience is getting pretty pathetic out there.